Good day. This is Brother Medina for Tuesday, Seventh-day Adventist. And please let us start with a word of prayer. Gracious loving Father, be with us as we enter into this presentation. Help everyone to be educated and to have the truth in their mind and to be able to act upon it, to save themselves and their families. These mercies we ask of you, Father, and thank you for hearing us and blessing us with your Holy Spirit right now. Amen. Well, we are continuing our discussion on vaccinations, and we need to show you certain things that you may not have known before. We like to let you understand exactly what has been going on. We want you to know for sure by giving you facts, scientific facts, the truth about these things to help you make your proper decisions when it comes to vaccinating your children and yourselves. Yes, my dear people. Now, there is something called vaccine ingredients. Those are ingredients that are put into vaccines that are put into your body. Many people do not know what those ingredients are or the effects of those ingredients upon themselves. And this is what we want to show you now. We want to show you some of those ingredients because our time is too short to show you all of them. And we want to show you what science knows about them. The next time you are putting vaccines into your bodies and the bodies of your babies, you need to understand what ingredients are being put into their bodies. Yes, my dear people, so that you can get an idea what to expect. Now, you need to understand that for vaccines to be effective, they say they must grow the virus or bacteria that they are targeting for destruction, the wild virus, the wild bacteria that they are targeting for destruction, they must grow it en masse in their laboratories. So what do? Viruses have a coat like clothes on. And this coat has a certain feature that identifies the shape of the virus and how it therefore attaches to different parts of your cells. Now this virus, they remove some of the genetic information from this virus to render it harmless, they say, or to render it as little effective as possible. Or they kill the virus, and before it disintegrates, they have it in a solution. Most often, all the viruses do not die. And then most often, a measles virus, a mumps virus, a rubella virus itself is a mutated one or a recreated one in a laboratory. So they will take the measles virus in the wild. In the laboratory, they will keep the coat of the virus, but they will remove some genetic information to, as they say, quote and unquote, make it safe for you. And this virus, they will grow in cell tissues. Yes, my dear people. Now, when they grow this virus in cell tissues and it is multiplied in a large way, it goes into a solution with other properties, some of them deadly metals that are not supposed to go into your body directly through your bloodstream. Metals like mercury, like aluminum, and also they put in the vaccines fat bursters or fat destroyers. And these detergents that destroy fat destroys the lining of fat that connects cell with cell, therefore causing cell disintegration. This and a whole host of other things, some of them not even known by the manufacturers themselves, get into these vaccines. Yes, my dear people. Let me read for you from this book, Vaccine Primer and Inoculation by Elliot Fried. I quote, "One common way of doing this is soaking the pathogens, which is the viruses, in formaldehyde." Notice this, they also soak the virus in formaldehyde. Notice what we are being told here. Do you expect viruses not to have formaldehyde with them when they inject it into your bodies? Of course it has that with it. It was soaked in it. Let me continue. Another concern regarding vaccine pathogens or viruses is that they give many diseases at once. Yes, my dear people. Let's just look at another point again. So here you have a virus not just only giving you one disease, but giving you different diseases. Not just only one, different diseases. They don't tell you these things. But all this is in vaccines. But remember, if you have a mutated or a re-engineered form of the virus, and they put that virus into your body via a solution in the vaccination, you must remember this, that the reaction to your body is supposed to produce antibodies to kill this re-engineered form of virus that have been grown in various cell tissues. And as your body produces antibodies, remember those antibodies deal with the mutated or the re-engineered type of virus, not the virus in the wilds. But how does your body deal with it? Your body have to deal with it by getting sick. Yes, my dear people. As these large amount of these viruses are pushed into your body directly through your bloodstream. And by the way, when these viruses come into your body, it does not come directly through the bloodstream. It comes through your nostrils or your mouth. And there are various filtration processes created by God in your bodies to deal with them, but not going directly into your bloodstream by sticking something into your bloodstream. But you must remember that when these things go directly into your bloodstream and antibodies are produced, they get you sick because these large amount of viruses flowing in your body from the vaccination does get you sick. And the sickness is this. This is what sicknesses from virus means. Sicknesses from virus means that your body begins to create a temperature to kill those viruses, which we call fever. And while this is happening, your body also produces a lot of antibodies from your white blood cells to gobble up the viruses, to kill the viruses. Yes, my dear people. That is what sickness means when you get infected with a virus. So vaccinations are meant to get you sick, but sick with a virus that have been re-engineered. So it does not prevent sickness, it gives you sickness. But they are telling you This sickness is to stop you from getting the other sicknesses from the wild virus in the environment, because your body have been trained to fight this re-engineered virus. That is such a weak theory that is already proven to be not necessarily right and accurate. That is what has happened. Terrible deceptions are working here. They are trying to deceive your immune system that God gave you. They're using deception to create health. And they forgot, or they refuse to tell you, that these viruses that they pack into these vaccines and push into your body mutate and comes into your body with a whole host of bad things like hardcore metals like mercury, aluminum, and various detergents and formaldehyde and other poisons, all together concocted in one solution. And they forget to tell you that these viruses sometimes mutate further and create a terrible form of sickness that you didn't even have before. And worse yet, if they put 3 or 4 different type of viruses in your body at the same time, like the measles, the mumps, the rubella, and sometimes the pox, the chicken pox. Your body does not get all those viruses at the same time. But they will put all 3 or 4 into your body at the same time with all those solutions with it. And your body now have to fight it off. Get sick 4 times at the same time. Sick to deal with each of the viruses at the same time. That's why you get such high fever. And from those metals, you get various reactions. And those reactions are not good for your body. Do you want them to put that in your 2-year-old child? Your 1-year-old child? Your 9-month-old child? Do you want them to do that? When you know in your mind what is going on, when you understand in your mind what is going on, do you want them to do that to you? But this is what they are doing. And you see, education on the television or on the radio as to what you are taking is necessary. Then you can have an informed choice. But no, they want to pass legislation to force you to take what you do not know and to deny your children education if they do not take what they don't know about, if you do not give it to them. And these are the things that have been happening over a period of time. Yes, my dear people. Listen to me carefully. Again, I'm reading to you from this same book. Listen to this. Apart from what we have shown you here, you need to understand some of those pathogens or viruses in the vaccine that they put into your body can only be grown on human flesh. Yes, my dear people, they can only be grown on human flesh. And it is for this reason human tissue is used to grow these pathogens or viruses that they have re-engineered. In order to speed up the process, manufacturers use the fastest growing tissue, which is fetal cancers. Because you see, cancer cells grow fast. So they must use cancer cells from human beings to grow those viruses. So when those viruses are being put in your bodies, remember they have been grown, quite a lot of them, in cancerous, aborted fetal cells. Yes, my dear people. Always remember that. Let me continue. We are told they are not called fetal cancers. Instead, They are called immortal cell lines. That's how the vaccine manufacturers call them, immortal cell lines. What this means is they are tissues from aborted or stillborn fetuses that replicate rapidly and do not die. The same as aggressive cancer cells. Yes, my dear people. The two most common are the Wistar Institute 38 cell line and the Medical Research Council 5 cell line. Those are the two most common cell lines they use. These are listed in vaccine manufacturers' data as WI38 and MRC-5, respectively. While manufacturers attempt to remove as much of the human flesh as possible before packaging it, it is impossible to remove all, as the viruses themselves, the pathogens themselves, as well as other ingredients are attached to it. So you see, to get the virus is attached to those cells and other deadly toxic substances that are in that goo, so to speak. They are attached to the cells, so they can't remove all. A large amount remains. Yes, my dear people. Research from the early part of the 20th century by Nobel Prize winner Charles Richet. Notice, we are dealing with experts here. Nobel Prize winner Charles Richet found that injecting undigested proteins into our bodies primes us for reactions, including allergic reactions and shock upon further encounters with similar proteins. Yes, my dear people. So your body becomes disposed to facing different types of allergic reactions and shock when you put undigested proteins into the bloodstream. You see, proteins supposed to go into your body via your digestive system. But here, monkey cells, dog cells, pig cells, chicken cells, and cells from aborted fetuses are put directly into your bloodstream. So you have undigested proteins from all these animals and human beings put into your bloodstream. They literally make you become a cannibal, if it is human cells, by inoculation, a cannibal by vaccination. And if even self you are vegan, you must remember when you take vaccination, you're destroying your veganism because you're putting those flesh of animals you won't even eat into your body, directly into your bloodstream. Because you must remember, when you eat food, and that food is digested and absorbed into your body, it goes directly into your bloodstream. But here they are now by a needle putting undigested flesh directly into your bloodstream. So it comes like you're a raw cannibal. And it goes directly into your bloodstream via the injection. Now let me continue this. It says here, you have allergic reactions and shock upon further encounters with similar proteins. He coined the term anaphylaxis to describe the process of reaction to previously injected proteins. Notice what they call it. So that's why when you go into an anaphylactic shock, when you see many people shaking and their body is being shocked like, and this thing keeps happening over and over for months, for years, sometimes crippling you, you must always remember it is the raw flesh from whatever creature, human beings or animals, that has gone directly into your bloodstream that is causing that. And this was found out by Nobel Prize winner Charles Richet. Yes, my dear people. These encounters can occur via further injections or even simply from eating the similar protein. So sometimes even eating the food after you prime your body for these kind of reactions can cause harm to you. That's why you have a lot of people are allergic to peanuts, because it is peanuts also that they use in some of these vaccines that they put into your children. So they are allergic to peanuts. They can't even eat a wonderful thing like that nut grain, which is so good for you. That's where those allergies come from the vaccines. Oh, but your mainstream media and your health journal would not tell you that, and the Ministry of Health would not publish these facts in journals for people to read, that they can make an informed choice, instead of forcing people by denying their children education. Let me continue. Mr. Richards' research has been replicated and confirmed, so it is known as a fact. It is recognized that this process of injecting undigested proteins into our bodies is responsible for many of our allergies. Yes, my dear people. Of particular note, in the case of injecting undigested human flesh into our infants, is that it primes the body or conditions the body to address human flesh itself as a foreign invader. Did you get that? So you have undigested human flesh into the body of your infants. So your body is now primed to address human flesh as a foreign invader. This process of training the body to recognize itself as pathogenic or as a virus is responsible for autoimmune diseases. And this is what we have been telling you over and over. Autoimmune diseases are VRIs. What are VRIs? Vaccine-related illnesses. Listen to me again. Autoimmune diseases are VRIs, vaccine-related illnesses. Your body has been primed to identify your own flesh or cell as an invader into your bloodstream, and therefore create antibodies from your white blood cells to attack it, to attack your own flesh. And this is an autoimmune disease. And that is the main cause of our modern pandemic of such illnesses. Yes, my dear people. There is growing evidence, I'm quoting, that the autoimmune components of diabetes, autism, lupus, multiple sclerosis, and similar ailments is at least in part a result of the injection of undigested human flesh into our infants. So you may have gotten inoculated with raw human flesh being put directly into your bloodstream at the age of 3. By the time you are 35 or 40 or 50, guess what? You start to develop diabetes, which are your immune antibodies attacking those cells in your pancreas that is responsible for dealing with sugar in your body. And as those cells are destroyed by your immune system, sugar builds up in your body. And that is what they call diabetes. But there is an alarming rate of infant diabetes now because of the amount of vaccination, the amount of human raw flesh that is being put into people's bodies via the bloodstream through vaccination. Yes, my dear people. But they won't tell you that. They wouldn't even tell you that when you're feeling the terrible burning in your body from vaccination, some people, and they freak out and they start to go into a shock and beat up. They won't even tell you that when you mix mercury with aluminum, it burns. And it's burning from that mixture in your bloodstream all around your body. They won't even tell you that. Which when it touches spine is crippling. That's why people get crippled. They won't even tell you that. Look, we are giving you the actual scientific cause of these reactions from vaccines. We are actually telling it to you. Don't you not think it is known? Of course, a lot of independent scientists have studied and found these things out. But research scientists from the drug corporations themselves won't tell you. Already they have been implicated of destroying evidence in studies. Many of these drug corporations have been fined not only for overstating the efficacy of vaccines, but also for fraudulent studies. But they won't tell you that in the media, and you don't know that. This is a whole host of money making. The lust of money is the root of this evil, because they make billions of dollars every year. Another thing you must consider is that drugs have side effects. And you see it on television where they show you the side effects of some of those new drugs they are giving to people. And some of those side effects are terrible. Vaccine is just another drug. So they have side effects too. But they give you the impression that vaccines are so pure, so flawless, so faultless, that it can't give you any reactions that are destructive to your health. That's insane. There are no perfect drugs, whether they are the pills themselves or whether they are vaccines themselves. There are no perfect drugs. And don't give the impression that something man-made is so flawless that it can't even do wrong. Absurd to think so. But these are the thoughts they are putting in people's mind. Because the majority of population, like sheeple, drink clean water told to them and don't evaluate and come to a point of understanding based on evaluation. So did you see that? So you find diabetes, lupus, autism where the brain is attacked, multiple sclerosis, and other ailments are all autoimmune diseases, and there's a whole host of new ones that were caused by the raw flesh, the undigested flesh in the vaccines put directly into your body via the viruses or the pathogens themselves. Yes, my dear people. You see, another concern in the use of cancerous tumors for the production of vaccines is that the cells themselves may cause vaccine recipients to develop cancer. Yes, my dear people. While cancer is a complex illness and often it is not easily reducible, the medical establishment recognizes that virtually all childhood cancers are caused by environmental factors. There are few such factors as intimate as the injection of cancerous tumors into children via vaccination. And that's what you're doing when you vaccinate a person. You actually put cancerous tumors into the flesh of that child via the vaccine itself with the pathogens or the viruses or bacteria that themselves have cancerous properties with them with the human flesh. Yes, I continue. Listen to this. The childhood cancer pandemic is a new development that corresponds roughly to the increasing use of vaccines. Did you see that? You see, let me just tell you something. Let me go a little further and read this for you. Other pathogens can be grown on human flesh or the flesh of other animal relatives. Monkey kidneys are popular flesh for this purpose as they grow rapidly. One problem with these types of flesh is that they are full of all manner of pathogens, other viruses, that have not even been identified yet. So as of now, they keep identifying new viruses in those kind of flesh. These pathogens are referred to as adventitious agents. That's what they call it. Instead of calling them animal viruses, they call them adventitious agents. Oh, nice terms to hide what is really the real things that are being put into your body. Flesh used to grow vaccine pathogens is tested for the small handful of known adventitious agents, but that is irrelevant. We don't know what most of these adventitious agents are, and independent labs frequently find new ones. But the vaccine labs don't tell you, but the independent labs do find new ones. It has been established that about 100 million people received polio vaccines in the 1950s and 60s that were grown on monkey kidneys and were infected with the adventitious agent simian virus 40. Now, why I call it 40? Because they are from number 1 to number 40. 40 different type of viruses was in this monkey kidney. But if you would observe, SV40 is simian virus 40 for short. And that was one of them. This was a cancer-causing virus. And many people were infected with this virus, and their children, by being born from those parents, had this virus in their bodies. This virus has been found in many cancers and is widely thought to be a causative factor. Yes, my dear people. So what does this mean? Even the Center for Disease Control in the US identified the SV40, simian virus 40, as being inoculated into more than 100 million people in America alone, not talking about worldwide. So many people get cancers today and die. Where did you think they get the cancer from? Oh, you see, the medical fraternity can't tell you the source of the cancer. They could tell you have cancer. But they can find the SV40 simian virus in the cancer, showing you that this virus is responsible for the cancers people have been getting. Yes, my dear people. And where did it come into the human family? Through vaccination. Oh, but they wouldn't tell you that. They just want you to accept what they are doing with no criticism, with no rejection, not even exercising liberty of conscience, freedom of choice, or religious liberty. And deny your children education if you refuse to do it to your child. But you see, when you understand what is going on in your mind, then you would know what you can do and what you're not supposed to do, and you would stop it. Yes, my dear people. Now we'll have to stop here. But you must remember these things that have been told to you. And you must see the risks that are involved, which they don't tell you. Don't be fooled by the drug corporations or the vaccine corporations' mantra. Oh, it is safe and effective. It is safe and effective, which they give to ministries of health and to other institutions and doctors to say. But when you understand the processes, how it works and what happens, you can see the whole thing is very suspicious and very intimidating to your sensibilities. So may God bless you as you make right decisions, as you protect yourself, and as you preserve yourself before it is too late. Now, if anyone wants this program, call us at 625-0446. 650 with this program plus others that went before. And may God bless you until we meet again in Jesus'